Hey everyone, Sean Jerry on here again. Here at Nevada Partners with an amazing cast, an amazing panel. So we're gonna start over here with the great Tiffany Ward, and I'm gonna let her introduce herself, and then we're gonna go down the line.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Hello, everyone. My name is Tiffany Ward. I am the CEO and managing partner of InspireWorks HR Solutions. We are a HR consulting firm located here in Nevada Partners. We're heavily partnered with the UNLV Tourism Business Igniter program, where we help over 40 businesses with any of their HR needs. And we also specialize in leadership development trainings as well. And that's pretty much it. Excited to be here. Excited to be here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Payne. I'm the creator of Build Wealth Mentors. It's a spinoff of a company called EAP, Educating America for Prosperity. And our focus is to have people using their money to build their wealth. Because the number one hurdle everyone has in starting every business or even in life is their finances. So we have people focus on using their money wisely to build their wealth. Again, my name is Robert Payne, and it's buildwealthmentors.com if you're interested.
My name is Dave Berlin, and wear a couple of different hats. You might remember me from the last live, but so I am the state coordinator for Global Entrepreneurship Week, which is a global initiative where we host 10,000 events plus all the same week in November. So I'm responsible for catalyzing all the events in the state of Nevada. With some great community partners and community organizers like Elias, Nadia. We've got Lourdes up in Reno and Ben Lafsky as well. So that's one title. The other title that's also relevant is I'm the program manager for entrepreneurship at Vets in Tech. Vets in Tech is a national nonprofit for veterans. We help veterans get high-level coding certifications and get them into jobs with our partners, but I run the entrepreneurship division, so we help veterans start and grow more businesses. I think the only other relevant one just out of entrepreneurship is I'm also the client success manager and brand development for a program where we help restaurants, independent restaurants from around the world, grow and scale their operations so they can be at home for dinner. So we've got about 120 restaurants in our cohort right now.
Definitely. Thank you, everyone, for being here and being a part of the panel. My first question, which Dave, you're probably gonna remember this one from our last live, but what caused you to get into entrepreneurship, and what makes you passionate about the work you do right now?
Me? Oh, no, sorry. My bad. Oh, yeah. For me, entrepreneurship really gives you the freedom to build your own destiny, right? I think I've learned so much, and I will continue to learn from other existing organizations. I really pride myself on being a part of elite industries or organizations or learning from them. So out of all the branches, I went to the Marine Corps. Right. I've got to work for really incredible companies and build incredible companies like DJ Connection that is like the leading in their industry. I moved here to be closer and be part of Zappos because what they were doing in the world of customer service was world class like nobody else. My mentor, when it comes to all things hospitality, he wrote the leadership principles at Disney. He was the VP of operations for Disney for 15 years, Lee Cockrell. Like those are all the people that I want to learn from. But I get to learn all those lessons from those people, and I get to build whatever I want. So I love the freedom to do that and help other people live into their freedom as well.
I love that. I want to piggyback off of that as well. Yes, I do believe that entrepreneurship helps you create your own destiny. You get to have the opportunity to decide what is going to work for you and your lifestyle. Actually, for me, when tragedy struck my family is when I actually ended up over time finding a purpose into entrepreneurship. Quick little background, in 2013, on Halloween night, my daughter, she survived a hit and run. She was struck by a car and they never caught the driver. She was only given a 10% chance of survival. She was in a coma for 2 months, but she did survive. And she's 17 now. She was 6 at the time. And at the time, we're actually just like regular 9-to-5 worker. And I was working for a timeshare company, and I was $1 million producer for them every year. And my goal was to get that vacation. I want that vacation. It really wasn't for me, not necessarily. I didn't really pay attention to how much money I was making them until I had to stop working because I had to care for my now sick daughter. And it made me look at things like, okay, I have like 4 or 5 awards at the time saying that you're $1 million producer, but yet I made about 40,000 that year. And so I had to think to myself, if I'm obviously capable of making this amount of money. So why not be able to make it for myself and make it for my family so I can be able to create generational wealth for them? But I was absolutely scared to even go into that field because I'm like every person that wants to be an entrepreneur but don't know where to start. It was, but how? How do I do this? It was up until I became a marketing. I got into the marketing department of a business coaching firm, and it was life changing because they had to teach us how to become business coaches in order for us to be able to help market the material. And I learned so much. And when I realized that becoming a business owner was not as hard as everyone thinks it is. It's just more about dedication, determination, having discipline to make sure that things go smoothly. Once you realize that all successful businesses create the same plan, they don't recreate the wheel. For me, that was a game changer. And I was like, you know what? If I can start one business, I can start a million businesses. And from there, I have been able to start create, and I've been able to sell shares of 3 businesses. And I was able to get Vegas Inc.'s Top 40 Under 40 from this, and then also being a Women in Business and Politics awardee. So a few recognitions on that, but really knowing my destiny, knowing that I have to make the decisions on what my destiny is why my entrepreneurship journey started. Yeah.
We're overdue for a conversation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the question is, what made you want to be an entrepreneur? And my answer to that is nothing. I don't want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be a wealth builder, because through my life, what I've seen is no matter what, everybody, got these titles and these businesses and these whatnots, but they're struggling. Like from my little sister that's a doctor, from my, older brother that's, in post office, and me. I got out of high school, went to the Marine Corps. It was like, hey, I got out of the Marine Corps and I only had one job. That's at the post office. And while I was at the post office, started carrying mail, I just started buying houses. I see a house that I like, I buy it. I see another house I buy it. So next thing you know, I end up with about 5 houses that's making me more money than my job. So I said, okay. Then I didn't recognize the fact that I was making more money, and I was a business builder. I just was buying houses. But then, I sold all those houses, and then I started looking around at everybody that was, had great titles and great jobs and making good money, but they were still living paycheck to paycheck. So my goal was to teach people how to use their money to build more wealth. So I started searching for opportunities where you can just move your money to make more money. And the stock market wasn't it. It was just a big old, risk scheme to me. You had only 1% of the people really making all the money in the stock market, and everybody else just putting money in it and struggling. So I started looking for things to real money, and I found a company that actually was encouraging people to invest in money or silver or gold. And I said, wait a minute, and that's the way to go. If you're moving your money to make more money and you're using your money only to get more money, so your product is money, then that's the way to go. So I started doing that, and that's what I do now. And we basically focus on showing people that no matter how much money you're making now or how little money you're making, even if you're a minimum wage earner, you can use that money wisely to connect with other people and move their money, and that's how you build your wealth. And once you have your money coming in, then you can live your dreams, right? Whatever your dreams are, most people's dreams are stalled or just halted completely because they run into financial problems. So let's get the finances out the way first and then live your dreams. And that's what I'm focused on now. So that's it. That's my story.
Okay. Well, amazing stories from everyone. I think entrepreneurship is starting to be the forefront of I think the next generation and how society is starting to come. Because when I was growing up, for sure, it was go to college, get a good job. It wasn't really talks of entrepreneurship. So my question to you is, to you guys is, how will you, not say push, but how will you encourage the next generation to undertake the journey of getting into entrepreneurship or wealth building, as you say, Robert? How will you guys, push the next generation to get into entrepreneurship and have an entrepreneurship mindset? Maybe even if they're not getting strictly into entrepreneurship, but just having an entrepreneurship mindset.
What I would say is I would want them to get into the mindset of not being afraid to fail. Because the thing about entrepreneurship is there's going to be a lot of times where you're going to fail, but it's actually not failing. So let me even back up from that. It's more of lessons. We learn from our mistakes so we don't create them again. Studies have shown that even in your first business that you create, that's not going to be your most successful business because you don't know everything. Be okay with not knowing everything, but know that you have a creative mind well enough to be able to make impact into this world. So if you believe in your concept, if you believe in your idea that passionately, go out and figure out how to make it work. And the great thing is that what I love about Vegas, this community is so supportive. All you have to do is start talking to someone. Even if you're in the room and you're networking with someone, you tell them about your idea, you never know who's willing to pour into that or give you the guidance that you may need. I'm huge on manifesting. I feel that thoughts become things. So I speak everything that I want to do into existence. I may annoy people with it sometimes, but the goal is to be able to let people know that, hey, I have things that are brewing and I'm not afraid to put it out there. I'm not afraid to take a risk. I'm not afraid to fail at it because I'm going to learn a lesson in everything that I do. So I would want to encourage our young entrepreneurs, future entrepreneurs and future leaders to not be afraid to fail.
Absolutely. That's a great question, by the way. How do you get the next person or the young people to focus on being an entrepreneur or building their wealth? And the answer to that is, to me, is what's your dreams? What would you like to be? And how would you like to get there? Or how can you get there? Because too many people focus on getting a job and paying the bills. So my question is, what's your number one reason for having a job? Is it to pay the bills and then that's it? Your bills are paid. Are you good? What about making your number one reason for having a job is to use that money to build your wealth? Because if you're a kind-hearted person, in my opinion, the problem with wealth is that only the people that are greedy or selfish or whatever, or only think about money, go for building wealth. Well, that's what society has made us believe. So the good people with the good hearts and the kind hearts figure they're doing good once their bills are paid or they have a job, because building wealth is greedy. Building wealth is, but no, if your mindset is to help other people, if your mindset is to give, if your mindset is to, see other people prosper, then the best way to help that happen is to build your wealth. So you can use your wealth to help other people build their wealth and live their dreams. So change your mindset from, wealthy people are bad and, they're greedy and they're just taking over. No. How about you be the wealthy person that you would like to see? How about you becoming the wealthy person that helps other people help build their dreams, to help other people focus on their finances? And you can't do that if you're broke. That's the bottom line. So my goal is to help people understand that the number one reason they should do or get a job or to, work hard is to use that money to build their wealth and use their money or have their money working harder than they are so they can therefore relax and help other people build their dreams.
So the best advice I would have for that next generation is, and this is becomes a very unique thing, because where I feel like my generation is kind of that last one where, you know, our parents all said, you know, go work for the person, you got to work hard and do this. Like, like most of my family, you know, they all went to work for a factory. I'm from a small town in Oklahoma. That's what you did there. And I don't subscribe to that. But because we're in that generation of entrepreneurship, I don't ever want to tell someone what they should do. I do want them to discover it for themselves. It goes back to books. So I believe that one of the first steps is to be somebody that is committed to growing no matter what. Like, and they have to start now. So if they're not reading books, they're reading books, because those books are going to help unlock what they should go after first. They might hear something in a book that says, oh, I never even thought about that. And then it's like, just because of that, in a little interaction, and as soon as you start playing that game, you start connecting to the world outside of you. Like, you might be in a room of people that are all talking about one thing, and you never heard what they were talking about. It never even clicked in your world until you read about it. And then you're like, oh, that's what they're talking about. You're a little bit more open to it. And then just sitting, I'm reading this book right now called Super Communicators. And the premise of it is that the right conversation at the right time can change everything. So, but you have more information if you're getting more information, right? So the idea would be is that somebody that you know, they're reading some of the books that are helping them unlock that power that they have within themselves, and then finding those opportunities, whether it be something that they just casually come across, or then when they see a problem, now they might have an answer or solution to monetize that and take on their first business. So to me, it always starts with learning. If they're not committed to it now, they won't be committed to it later. But it'll also help them understand where they're at now and unlock what that first true potential is, and evolve from there.
Can I speak to that real quick? Yeah. What Dave is saying is absolutely right. He's, you know, reading a book is just great. It's just it's a way to, you know, get outside your bubble, to learn things that you haven't even thought about. But this is 2024, right? So if you're not reading a book, at least tune into a podcast about what you're something different than what you're doing. Tune into a podcast about, you know, entrepreneurship or building wealth, or how to use your money to make more money. All these things open your mind to different avenues of supporting yourself, right? Because that's what it's all about. We get a job so we can, you know, pay the bills, like I said, and, you know, and make sure our loved ones are covered. But there's other ways of doing that nowadays, especially in this age of technology. So there's a lot of things out there you can tune into to just open your mind to something more than working 9 to 5 and punch a clock and building somebody else's wealth. Focus on building your own wealth, and there's so many avenues that you can do that with. Okay.
So, you know, you often get asked this question when you're younger, is where do you see yourself in 10 years? So when you guys got asked that question, what was your answer, and how different does it look from what you're actually doing today?
Oh, Tiffany, yeah.
Whoa. Okay. This is kind of like going back to the younger self. I love it. So are we going like teenager years, or, you know, there's a lot of 10 years in between these times, you know, a lot of decades. So I'll go as of, you know, pretty much graduating, I guess, high school. You know, I actually wanted to be a JAG in the Air Force.
Wow.
Yeah. I had that like set in my head since I was like, I want to say second grade. My grandfather, my late grandfather, he was a military vet as well. Very important person in my life. So I wanted to be able to carry on that legacy, and wasn't able to because I got pregnant at 18 and stopped. You know, of course, my journey for me, as you know, at everything stops. Mom first. Grateful to say that my son now, he's 19, he's in the military, so he's in the Army, and he's going to South Korea in a couple weeks. So, but as back then, I would have said, where do I see myself in 10 years? Once I became a mother, I saw myself being married, having more children, and being able to build and grow from there, which I did. I had accomplished becoming a pretty much a middle-class working mother. And that was my form of success at that time. Now, if you would ask me now where I see myself in 10 years, I see myself having a franchise of HR consulting firms. I would like to be, or I will be global in different countries, learning and exploring the world, and being able to also not only just do that, but do my purpose as well, because I'm a certified sound healer. So I am huge on meditation and holistic healing and such. So I do see myself also being able to spread the positive vibes and energy of keeping people, helping them find that work-life balance. As being entrepreneurs and employees and employers, how do we also take care of ourselves? Because if we don't take care of ourselves, all of this magic that we have up here goes away. So, so I'm big. I'm definitely big on that now. So in 10 years from now, y'all gonna be seeing me in lights.
All right, great answer. Okay, what was the question? Am I now what I thought I would be back in high school? Nowhere near. What was my dreams? My dreams was to not be anything, but to not be a statistic, right? Because in my neighborhood, when I grew up, most people were just happy to get by, or happy to not be, arrested or killed or whatever the case was. And I'm one of 8 siblings, right? I have 7 brothers and sisters, 4 sisters, 3 brothers, and one actually got killed at 23. He shot and killed at 23. So, and that was when I was 13. So my goal was to just survive, right? Just to do something to pay the bills. So if you ask me that now, what's my goal? What will I be in 10 years? My real answer to that is I would be the reason at least 200 people be financially free. That's my goal. Not to be financially free personally, because I already am, but to be the reason 200 people, become financially free just by changing their mindset from working hard to having their money work hard for them. And if I can do that, there's an old saying that if you just have helped one person, then you've done it. You've done. No, if you just have one person, you didn't work hard enough. You didn't share the word enough. That's how I look at it. I'm contrary to a lot of sayings that's out there. So anyway, that's what I say.
It's an interesting question, because I don't remember what I said I was going to be. Because I didn't know. I tried everything. Now I could tell you where, like, if I'm talking to myself right now, because again, there's a couple 10 years between here and there, like going from the military to the drill instructor life and then switching into weddings. I could have never predicted that. And then from weddings into all the stuff that I do now, all the veteran work. I'm at a really interesting crossroads, because I have a son. He's 19. I hope he goes to the military. He's trying to figure out his own way right now. But I did something for my birthday that is really going to tee up powerful next 10 years, but I'm not talking from right now, because if you ask me where I'm going to be in 10 years right now, I don't know. But I'm doing something different for myself that I've never done before. Everything else, it was always like forged out of this experience that I was in. And I either knew that I wanted to do this, or I know I never want to do this. But I'm doing something really powerful. All my paperwork has been sent off for me to get my passport. I've never had a passport. The last time I traveled was whenever I was in the military 20 years ago, and I've not left the country since. So I wanted to give myself the time and space to travel and have freedom and choose from that place of freedom. So but it comes with a little bit of like, I have to bake in where I came from. I never forget where I'm from. So I'm going to be meeting with some people soon that she's an entertainer on a cruise line for Virgin Voyages. And I want to see what her experience was like, because in the spring, I'm looking at going through the training and interviewing to be an entertainer for Virgin Voyages, to where I can travel, DJ, and MC, get paid very well to do it, but then leverage that time and experience to make a choice on the beach of an island in Ibiza or something, for me to say, where do I want to go from here? Not where do I feel like I have to go because I either really love this or I really hate this. I want to be able to make that choice from there, knowing that it could change. Like, but I kind of want to make the choice from that, not based from I'm struggling and I have to, my back's against the wall and I need to choose something to break out. Instead, how do I make that decision with my hands open and say, what is next? This is next. And then do that.
Right. Exactly. I think great answers all across the board. I think Matthew McConaughey said it best. I was watching a speech by him, and they asked him who's his hero, and he said it was him in 10 years. And they said, they came back 10 years later and they asked him, are you your hero? And he was like, no, check back with me in 10 more years. And he said that always left him with something he was chasing. And I always felt like that resonated with me, because I'm one of those people that I don't know what I want to do. And like, I'm just obsessed with growth and success, So I think that coincides great with what you guys said. My next question is kind of, again, I'm going back to the youth, but for those youth that are kind of like at a crossroads where they don't know what they want to do. Like, I feel like in this generation, even in earlier generations, but in this generation especially, we have a lot of youth with a lot of different skill sets. Well, where it's like we're kind of being a generation of, I'm kind of spacing what the saying, but it's like jack of all trades, master of none. That's exactly what it is. And it's
the jack of many is better than the master of one. Most people forget that part. There's actually another part to it, and it doesn't complete the actual saying until you say that, because they say jack of all, master of none. It sounds like you do too many things and it doesn't matter. And like, that's a bad thing. But the jack of all, or the jack of many, is better than the master of one.
Yeah. Changes the whole thing.
Oh, for sure. So what advice would you guys give those youth out there, or those people? Maybe it's just people, maybe not be youth. Maybe it's people finding their ways, people in midlife crisis, is that find themselves with many, like, a lot of assets within themselves, but they can't find a way.
Yeah. Well, I would say that your way may just not have caught up to you yet. Like, it's funny to me, like, I left out. I was an electrician for 4 years. Now, that's funny because I left that out, but for the last 4 years that I worked at the youth academy, I was an electrician too. I worked 80 hours a week for 4 years, because I worked my 40 in 3 days, and then I worked my other 40 at the youth academy. And like, I got to the point where I could have taken my test and got certified as a journeyman electrician. But I felt like if I did that, that would mean that's what I had to do. Worse, I would always fall back on that if I had to. Now, the funniest thing, and this is a little bit more on the personal side of stuff, I never used that again until February. And it's so funny because I had went on a date with this girl. Went well. And then the next day she goes, is this weird? Like, can you help me hang these lights at my house? She just bought a new house, and she was like, can you help me hang these lights? And I was like, yeah. And it's so funny because I actually knew how to hang the lights because I was an electrician. So that's the only time I've ever used that. But it was just funny because those little things, they will come back up. And I'm not saying that I won't ever be an electrician again, but I have so many tools in my shed that some of those tools seem stupid at the time, but maybe the world just hasn't had a big enough problem yet for me to pull those tools out of the shed. So it's the advice there is I have 6 core principles of building relationships, but I think the 2 that are most relevant for this is like, if you don't know, the 2 things that you can always do is show up and serve. Show up and serve. And what's going to happen is if you show up and you serve, there's going to be something that reciprocates back that makes you feel a different kind of funny inside. That's like, I think I should do this for a while. And you may not do it forever, but you may do it for a while. And the other part of that is the most important thing out of all of this is that you make a decision. Doesn't have to be the right decision. It just has to be a decision. I learned this the other day because I'm learning every day. I wish I'd heard this years ago. If you ever have like options and you're like, I don't know what I should do, flip a coin, roll a dice, whatever. But as soon as you flip it, whatever you hope it is, that's probably the way you should go.
Oh,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it removes that.
Because
It
you're
removes
passionate
that
about
chance
that.
because
I
there's
love
something
that.
like, so it's like, and it's, if you have 6 choices and you write it down, number 1, like you roll a dice, like whichever roll, like when you go to roll it, whatever you hope it is in that little moment, that maybe that's it. Like maybe that's what helps you make that choice. Or you flip a coin, like, are we going left or are we going right? I hope it's right. Boom. Then it was already right.
was
You just
already-
needed that little piece for yourself. But as soon as you make that decision, then you unlock the universe in that path.
So once you flip that coin, you don't need the coin anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
I love that analogy. That's great. Could you repeat the question?
So the question was like, what advice would you give like youth, like adults, like, you know, people maybe just going through it that like can't find their way, people that like maybe like have so many skills but they just don't know what they want to do. Like, what advice would you give to them?
The advice I would give them is focus on development. It would be your leadership development, your personal development, your professional development. Go and take some courses. The knowledge is going to be key. It's going to help you find your way, because then through those types of workshops and classes and such, you're able to learn and gain so much. And especially if you have the proper teacher, if you do your research on the people that are actually instructing these courses, you'll find a sense of inspiration as well. I know when I got my umph about becoming an entrepreneur, I was working at a business coaching firm, and I was doing a business excellence forum. It was kind of like the Grammys for small businesses. And we were in San Diego, and I was doing my work around for everyone, just kind of going through and hearing the speeches, but not really. That's not my goal, was to pay attention. It's for me to work. But Dr. Tony Alessandra, he's with Assessments 24/7. And he started speaking, and I stopped, and I could not move. I was so drawn into him, and he was speaking about personalities and how to find the right people in the right seats at the right time, and how to understand yourself, and how to hone in on yourself. If you don't know about yourself, here's a blueprint that can help you learn a little bit more about yourself and help you find things that you didn't really know were your strengths. You probably thought they were weaknesses. How do you handle stress? How do you manage stress? How are you perceived by others? And instead of you trying to figure it out for yourself, they have this assessment that is non-biased that will help you figure that out. And it'll give you something to start with. And once I listened to him, and I had already taken the DISC assessment before, so I was already like really drawn in, I decided I wanted to become a certified DISC practitioner. That was not a part of my plan. And because I was able to go in and hone in on something that I knew that I would be passionate about, and that is learning people. Now I am blessed with the opportunity to teach people how to also learn people, and how they can communicate with people, and how they can help make impact effectively. So I would say, and it was solely because I decided to work on my development, and I knew that I wanted to be somewhere. It's not up to us really to determine when that happens. So during the time that you don't know, prepare yourself, develop yourself, so that when you are ready, or when it's time for you to get up on that stage and actually do the work that you intend to do, you're able to do it at its full, at your top tier.
Great answers from both of these guys. It's it's amazing how you on a panel to help other people, but you listen to the people on the panel and you learn yourself. So my answer to the question is, before the development, before this is, I've learned that questions are the answers, right? So ask yourself questions. Talk to yourself. It's well known that most wealthy people do a lot of talking to themselves, ask themselves a lot of questions. So ask yourself, do you want to be what surrounds you? Do you want to be more successful than the most successful person you know? Do you want to help others? What do you want? And really talk to yourself and really find out or learn about you by asking yourself questions, so you don't waste time going down roads that don't really, fit what you want to do. Because a lot of people just take opportunities because that opportunity is there at the moment, so they can pay their bills, right? And then next thing you know, 10 years later, they've done something for 10 years that they really didn't want to do. So just ask yourself, what do you really want to do? Get to know yourself, look in the mirror, talk to yourself, just find out exactly what you want to do. And then personal development, start developing yourself, start learning, so start focusing on that, what you decided you really want to do. Because most people really, they're doing something they really don't want to do. They're just doing something because that's the job they got when they were 18. And then it led to this and led to that. And next thing you know, 30, 40 years later, they've been doing things they really didn't want to do. And they had dreams of something that was totally opposite of what they've been doing for 40 years. So find out what you really want to do, then focus on that, and then develop yourself to be that. That's what I would say.
Really great answers across the board. I think one of my next questions, it's like a little bit of like a kind of like a deep dive, I guess. But I would say my next question is, what bad habits did you have to get over to be successful in the entrepreneurship realm? Or what bad habits do you still have now that you're trying to get over?
Yeah, Tiffany.
She has all the bad habits.
Yeah.
Well, I've been able to develop. I've been able to acknowledge them, so you can fix them. The great thing about it is that the pandemic helped me. It helped me a lot in this area, because I got to sit down and sit still for a second, because I'm always on the go. I don't know if y'all see me all the time. I'm always on the go. Yes. So I actually had time to sit down during the pandemic and really think about, like, okay, Tiffany, you want to be this, but you're this right now. How do you become this? Okay, in order to become this, I have to have more drive towards the things that I want versus the drives that I don't want. One thing that I've learned through business coaching is it's a formula. It's D times V has to be greater than R, and that's the formula of success. It is your determination and your vision has to be greater than your resistance in order to become successful. So if I'm determined to be here, and I knew I wanted to be a leadership development trainer and facilitator, I knew that. So what did I need to do to be able to get there? Of course, I need to go get certified, and I need to do the training. I need to make sure I have the knowledge, because we do not want to give out knowledge that we cannot prove is a proven concept or method. But I had a horrible time with time management. Horrible time. It's like, oh yeah, no, I have plenty of time. There's enough time in the day. I can get things done. So, but I started dragging out, and I started getting, well, more so like burnout. I started getting really, really tired. And when you're tired, especially in this field, I have to be able to speak to whomever and give them the training necessary, but I also got to live it as well. So what I decided to do to overcome that was I created a 90-day planner organizer for time management. called the Manifesting Mommy Journal. And it is targeted towards, of course, moms. So we can be able to not only be able to do our everyday work life, but also take some time and devote it to ourselves. May it be a hobby, may it be just sitting down reading a book, if it's taking a bath, if it's making sure we have our water intake. What does that look like for us as women? Because we usually put ourselves last, not only just as a mother, but I do it as an entrepreneur as well, because when my clients win, I feel like I'm winning. And so I want to make sure that they have everything that they need. So I will sacrifice and make sure that I'm always on call for all of my clients, even still to this day. But I've been able to kind of master time management to make it where it's not such of a burden as it was when I first started.
Bad habits I had to get over. Huh? Okay. Procrastination is the main thing I had to get over.
I'm still working on that.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's an old book called Eating That Frog. I don't know if anybody remember that book, called Eating That Frog.
Yes.
And you have to, do the thing you hate most or you don't want to do the most. Do it first in the morning. That's called Eating That Frog. So, and I still have a problem with that.
You have to do it. Like
I
think I hate to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Some people,
Okay.
I feel like some people think that they have to do everything.
Right.
Like once they've determined that it is something that they need to do.
Exactly.
We all have things that we actually need to do.
Exactly.
It's whatever the worst one of those.
Exactly.
That's the one you want to eat the frog, but not
absolutely.
Like something you really have to ask yourself. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Well,
I really thought about.
Well, you're making a good point because, like I said, you have to ask yourself questions.
Exactly.
Right? So I'm talking. That's exactly what I'm saying. What do you have to do? What do you have to? Well, the worst thing you want to do that's for you. Get it out the way in the morning. Do it first, because otherwise you'll find out at the end of the day that things still hasn't gotten done because you're procrastinating on it because you think it's a hard thing to do. So get it out. And that's something I'm still struggling with as well. But I do it most of the time. But the main thing I have to get over, or my bad habit, is like I'm a lot like Tiffany because we figured out that we're both owls.
Yes,
but
we are. And that's what I'm gonna say. You're an owl, so give yourself grace.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say. If you don't know about owls, we'll talk about that owl and stuff later. She has a great program. She teaches
I'm in Nevada Partners and learn it.
Oh wow. Exactly. Come here and learn it. But anyway, I put other people first. So I think about other people to my detriment a lot. And I have to stop doing that. I have to start doing what's important for me so I can help more people, because my whole goal is to build my wealth by helping other people build their wealth. And I can't do that if I'm, not doing what I'm supposed to do, or another thing is I get discouraged, right? When people can't see what's best for them right in front. And I do my best and then I get discouraged sometimes and don't keep sharing because I get, whatever. But that's personal. So you have to learn how to just keep moving, keep pushing forward, keep following your dreams and stuff. And just, once you have that good dream, once you have that dream, don't let anybody, push you off your square. And a lot of times that happens, still to me, at this stage of the game, because, it's life. Sometimes you're depressed about this or you're concerned about that. And then when somebody says something to you, that weighs in, right? Everything kind of, connects. So sometimes you're just having a bad day for whatever reason and you don't do what you're supposed to do. But then every day is a new day. Don't take yesterday's issues into tomorrow, right? So anyway, that's my problem: procrastination and putting everybody before me to my detriment. That's my basic issues.
So for me, I think the I don't know now. The worst habit is always saying yes. but I'm gonna flip that on its head because like I'll do it in doses. Right now, Lisa Song Sutton, slowly she's becoming one of my favorite people in this whole world of business and stuff. But
Who's that? Is that again?
Lisa Song Sutton, she's here in Las Vegas. You know Lisa?
I've heard that.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
She all her stuff, everything she's got coming across her feed right now is just so powerful. And she did say this, and I went through this season a couple months ago. She said, just say yes for 1 month and see what happens. Say yes to everything. Like, and I'm always grateful for that because every time I hit her up to be on one of my panels or speak at something or show up at something or support and share something, she's always on it. But like, I try to do that in doses now. And so I would say I say yes to everything. Almost I've done it to a fault. So now it's how do I practice saying no, but have a strong reason why? Like I'll tell you where I always say no. And this might make me sound like a demon. Every time you check out at the store now, there's always some type of nonprofit or something that they're asking to give to. Do you want to round up? And I say no every time. And people are just like, why? And I'm like, you have no idea. Every cent, every dollar, every second that I have that is extra goes to the veteran organizations that I already serve.
Yeah. So it's already allotted.
It's already allotted. And I'm actually, that's tapped out. Like that's tapped out.
And that's a good reason.
So, but that helps me say no because then I'm like, nope. And it's not because I'm a demon. It's just because I know where I have the resources. So I want to practice that in other areas, right? But also, like you're still having the freedom to say yes, because when you do say yes to one thing, you do say no to yourself. In most cases, that's who you say no to, is you say no to yourself. So how do you have that practice? And self-care, I'm learning. I'm in this weird phase of my life as I was coming out of going into empty nest. A big decision. And so when you say worst habit, I'll say this, and I'm learning this more every day. I stopped drinking January 1st, and that has been the best decision that I've ever made for myself. And I didn't understand how bad of a decision it was every time I said yes to a drink. So I'll count that as a bad habit because I thought I was on point. And have I been able to accomplish so many things in my journey? Sure. But now it's like, it's time to unlock the universe and just really start building. And every day that I don't drink, I feel like is a step towards that. So I would say those are the things that are the things that can generally be the worst. And to your point about self-care, which is, there's this really funny poem. It was a heartbreak poem, but she read it and it was really powerful because she was talking about going to the grocery store and buying herself flowers, right? Because that's how you get better, at least what she's heard. And like, then she gets there and she realizes like, man, I don't even have a vase for these flowers. So she ends up buying some soup and some multivitamins instead, because sometimes self-care is about the big lavish coffees or getting your nails done or the bubble bath, but sometimes it's about eating dinner. And really creating the space for yourself to do that. So when I say eating dinner at the minimal level, but then can you really build on top of that? And it's like in the morning, I go to the gym and like this morning, I didn't have a lot of time before I came to this. And I was like, I need to do something. And I did something I haven't done in a long time. And I pushed the sled and like, I felt like I was being the loud guy at the gym because I was like, ah, and then like, but I also, and then I just crashed on the floor and like, I almost felt like applause from everyone because they were like, all right, this dude like everyone sees me do the same things over and over. But this time I was just like, I threw it all in there. I'm feeling it right now. Yes. But so the self-care piece is one that I neglected, saying yes all the time, and then drinking. So I kind of switched that.
I want to piggyback off of that self-care. I think that is huge. It's very, very important. It's actually one of the things that we should utilize as a priority. So even going back to a couple of questions ago about what would you tell youth, self-care. Mm-hmm. You have to also care for yourself. One of the things that I did for Mother's Day, actually this year, my son, he's old enough to get me a gift. So he was like, Mom, what do you want? And I was like, I want some spikes. And he was like, what? I'm like, I want some track spikes. It's like, I want to get back to how I used to feel when I used to run. And in high school, I remember every single time I had something stressful, I would just go and I would run to my high school, and then I would put on my track spikes and I would run the track.
Wow.
Just go as fast as I could, and then look around and watch. It feel like I was like actually driving a car. It was weird, but it would take me out of that whatever negative energy I had felt. It was all gone by the time it's like I left it out there on the track. And I found a standalone track out here. And when I saw it and I drove past it, I was like, wait a minute, it's calling me. And so when my son got me some spikes for my for Mother's Day, and it got hot, obviously, so I wasn't able to use that. But now recently, because now it's getting cooler, I have been able to go out and be on the track, and I do that very often now. And it's a part of my now routine. It's like I don't feel right if I'm not out there on the track at least twice a week. So and even if it's just a couple of sprints back and forth.
Yeah.
And it's a very important.
I ran for the first time in years because my niece. I ran for the first time just a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing.
Exhilarating, right? It was like I was like, oh my God, I miss this feeling. So now it's kind of like I'm like, I don't know if I have an addiction or something now, but I'm definitely addicted to caring for myself. Like it feels good to yes. It's like, and people, I noticed that people tell me as well, they're like, you look different. And it's because I'm taking care of myself. On top of the things that I do take care of on a day-to-day basis, but I've also included myself, so yeah.
That's great advice to take care of yourself, because I don't look like it now, but I am a gym rat. Okay. All right. And then, but anyway, got to work, make sure if you get in, I got a foot injury, doctor hit a nerve in my foot. And so I just kind of stopped doing anything, but I could have been doing something. At least I could have kept eating right, or at least I could have kept, doing my upper body or whatever. But it but since walking and everything was my main thing, I just kind of quit everything. So you got to, just work beyond your limitations, or if you get injured or something, just try to, at least eat right or something like that until you can get back to the gym, because self-care is very important. And it's obviously something I have to work on myself, but it's very important. Anyway, let me give it back to
For sure. Again, this is Sean Jerion. I think it was a very powerful day, very great conversation. Thank you guys for being on the panel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys do your plugins, tell them where they can find you, and please leave the audience with one quote that really resonates with you.
Okay.
Yeah. So the easiest place, and I need to change I think I need to drop some of the links, but if you just go to davemeansbusiness.com, I'm Dave Berlin on all the social medias, but davemeansbusiness.com has the main ways you can get in touch with me. And the quote, this is, there's so many good ones. But I read one the other day that really hit home. It's no amount of stress can change the past. No amount of anxiety will change the future, but any amount of gratitude changes right now.
All right.
I don't know who said it, but
it's good advice.
Okay, yes. For me, my most impactful quote is, and I'm not sure if he's the one that actually said it, but I know I heard it from him. I heard it from the late, great Nipsey Hussle. Talent will get you there, but character will help you stay there. And for me, that speaks volumes for me, because I have been able to transition from different businesses and also been able to still keep, the same support system, and been able to keep the same opportunities, because I do believe that my character speaks volumes, and I stand high with my integrity and how I move. And so I would say talent will get you there, but character will help you stay there for everyone. And that's in personal and professional.
Tell them where they can find you.
Oh, see, I always forget about myself. Yes. You can, as I mentioned, Tiffany Ward, CEO of InspireWorks HR Solutions. You can find us. We are located here in Nevada Partners. We have our office upstairs, and we're here in the incubator. We're very heavily partnered over here. So if you do have any questions about your business, any HR related issues or any concerns, you can definitely reach out to us. Feel free. We also offer professional executive leadership coaching for your teams. And we also do team building trainings as well. We have an amazing team of coaches that are out here really making impact. You can find us on our website, inspireworkshr.com, as well as on all social media platforms, including LinkedIn. We're heavily on LinkedIn. That's InspireWorks HR Solutions. And huge shout out to my business partner and managing partner, Dr. Melvin King. He did an incredible job last night doing a fundraiser event for the city of North Las Vegas Library District. And I just want to give him a huge shout out for doing that. That's probably why he's not here today. He's probably resting up from all the success from yesterday. So great job.
Thank you. My name is Robert Payne again. And my quote is, my favorite quote is, "There's no true freedom without financial freedom." That's my favorite quote. And just to let you know that no matter what you're doing, minimum wage, whatever, 6-figure earner that's still living paycheck to paycheck, you're earning enough money right now to live your dreams. It's just about how you use that money, right? It's just about moving that money correctly. And no matter how much you're making, if you just take a portion of it and use that money to earn more money, you can live your dreams no matter what you're doing right now. So don't think you're not earning enough money to build your dream. My website is buildwealthmentors.com, and we focus on first getting cash flow into your household and then moving to foundations, trusts, and stuff like that, so you can pass your wealth on generation after generation. Okay? Again, buildwealthmentors.com. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching, and that's a wrap.
That was great. Great job.
Ooh. I got my water thing right there on the sink as I was walking out. Great job.
Wow. Yes. So good to see you.